What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the Tug of More.
Well, you can finish your text message.
No, I was looking for an email. My daughter's room is getting her wood flooring in. I'm trying to find a new rug for her. So I was trying to find an email with a rug so I could order it for her. That's what I'm doing.
High tasks around here.
It's multitask.
Multitasking.
That's what it is.
I'm not a good multitasker.
No.
I'm a really good on my tasker, but I'm not a good multitasker.
That's true. Yeah.
But I'm capable of jumping from one task to another quickly. I just can't do two at the same time.
You gotta, because there's plenty of times I'm like, it's not rude. If I said it to anyone else, it would be rude. But there's plenty of times I'll just be like, I'll let you finish. And then
because, hey, listen, if I'm not looking at you, I'm not paying attention.
No, it's true.
Dude, I've been like that my whole life.
But you will stop me and you'll be like, are you really paying attention? I'm like, 100%. Here's what you said. And you're like, how did you know? Multitask.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tug of More.
That's right.
Whether you are a multitasker or you are locked in and focused on what we're talking about.
Or maybe you're terrible at all tasks.
We're glad that you're here.
That's right.
Just a conversation between two friends. Me and Whit have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Coming up on 15 years.
Yeah. We celebrated 14 years this summer, and now we're working on our 15th year.
We're in our 15th year. We're not sick of each other yet. Our spouses aren't sick of each other yet.
Yeah.
They're sick of us, maybe, but they're not sick of...
days they're sick of us.
And so here's what we do at the Tug of More, if you're new, is we just talk about this conflict we have, all of us inside, that we want to be somewhere farther along, greater, better. We want to be more, but we are where we are.
Yeah.
There's this chasm between today and tomorrow, and that tension is what we call the tug of more.
Well, and the reason why we want to be more and we want to get to more is because we believe that God has more for us.
Yeah.
That no matter where we're at in life, that there's still more to accomplish, more that God wants to teach us, more that we can learn. And so it's not just like, I want more. It's like, more's there. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
Right?
And so that means that we have a lot of different conversations.
All
we have
kinds.
Leadership stuff. We have spiritual conversations.
We have ridiculous conversations.
We're ridiculous. We start usually with just some stories about our lives. And if you don't like them, there's a little tab. Do we got it, Julia? The little thing? It just shows you where you can just fast forward to.
Yeah.
If you're just sick of us saying stupid stuff.
Because we found out that half our staff does not like the fun and half our staff does. So
we're going to just do it for the half.
We fired the ones that didn't like the fun.
You out of here. You out of here.
I'm just kidding.
You like that one.
Yeah, no, that was funny.
Well, what's happening? What's happening in your life? Any fun things?
Fun things? No.
Tell us about the sad things happening in your life.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I saw Whitten today. This morning I went to the gym.
Yeah.
And everybody was there.
I went back
Kyle,
officially.
Whitney's back in her grind. I went there, me and Kyle, and then Aaron and Easton were there, and then Whitney was there, and then we saw Brady there, and then Melee was at the gym.
Yeah.
Who had quite the crew there.
Oh, I was doing so good until the wedding. The wedding was like a benchmark, like I gotta look good. I gotta wear sleeveless dress. I gotta be skinny. All the things. And then it was like, once that happened, then I was like, well, I did it. And then
where's a taco?
And then I took a month of I don't know. Blamed it on
it's amazing.
My son got married.
It's amazing what can happen in 6 weeks of non-focus.
And then you try to put your jeans on, and you're like, nope.
We went to, where did we go just the other night? Oh, we went to a quinceañera.
Oh yeah.
And so we got invited, Jackie and Alex. Quinceañera.
Yeah.
And so Rachel had this whole plan of me wearing this white shirt with these khaki pants. With these khaki pants, they fit incredible. Me gaining 12 to 15 pounds over the summer. Hey, y'all, it's a difference.
Hey.
And I put them on and I came out and Rachel was like, mm-mm.
She told you no?
Yeah, I was like,
change?
what? She's like, Trustin.
Can't do it?
No, they're too tight.
Oh.
And so my outfit kind of matched, but it was just my only option.
Matched? I don't remember thinking you didn't.
Oh, no. My outfit matched. I didn't match her.
Oh, you were going to match her.
She was trying to make me her accessory. This is now what I am. I'm Rachel's accessory.
Yeah.
Which is a great accessory to be.
That's good.
So back in the gym, today I had the privilege of spotting the most handsome man I may have ever seen.
This is the funny thing about you.
Let me tell you something.
You have parameters about what is a handsome man that most women are like.
You don't think that guy, if that guy was not good looking, I just hope the rapture happens right now.
He looked like someone we know, which then probably threw me off. He looked like our friend that moved across the ocean to an island with his wife.
Across an ocean?
I bought a Jetta from him.
What?
That's who he looked like to me.
No.
Yes. And so I was like, Yeah, I don't know. He's young too. Maybe that's the other thing.
This guy,
Maybe
he's
because
over there.
I'm a mom.
He needed a spot. He was dying. He was about to die under the weight, and so
He
I went
just
over and
looks
talked
like
to
a
him.
giant.
This cat is, I'm telling you, 6'7".
Yeah, you're not lying.
Muscled up, full head of hair. You know what his face looked like? You know what I thought he looked like? The guy who plays Superman.
Okay.
You know the Superman guy?
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know. The guy
yeah, I
who
don't know.
plays Superman.
The new one, the Marvel, like the most up-to-date one.
New Superman fights Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And then I'm introduce myself, you know. I'm like, what's your name, man? He says, my name is Giovanni. And I'm like,
Of course it is.
of course. Of course you have the sexiest accent that a
Right.
man could possibly have, and your name's
ridiculous.
Giovanni. Sure, I'll spot you.
He was-
And when I was done, I looked at myself in the mirror and was just so
You
confused.
just felt like a short, tiny man.
Yeah, I'm like, why, God? Why is this what I'm working with? And this guy is just this. He's probably lifted weights 8
Yeah,
times.
but you just said you and all your friends had to spot him because
That's
he was
true.
by himself.
Hey, I had a community.
So you
I was
had
rolling
your
deep.
people. Yeah, you had your people with you. He was alone. And so
If you took me and all of my friends' best physical attributes and made one conglomeration of weird science, then we
then
might
you
have
would-
competed with this
you
guy.
would- I think, yeah, there you go.
And thank
No,
God
that's
for
it.
Easton and Kyle.
There you go.
In that
that
collection.
scenario. It's really funny. Yeah, I'm back at the gym. That's good. We're back in the saddle. School starts next week for all of like the people in our area.
Oh, don't bring that up.
Well, but that's why we got to get back in the swing of the gym and all the things because I got to get ready before we get ready. You know, like
Yeah.
I have to pre-plan before the. I mean, I don't have kids in school anymore, so what
Yeah,
do
I was like,
even
why?
care?
You sending
I
somebody
don't
off on the
know.
bus? What are you
No,
talking about?
but
I thought you were going to talk about how this Sunday is Promotion Sunday.
Well, yes, I will also, but I don't know what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say. But
Okay.
yes, I don't know. We have to, I know what I was going to say. For our team, July is kind of like, what are we doing? Like, it's so dead because everyone's
hard.
traveling.
Yeah, it's hard.
We don't have as many events.
Half the
like,
staff's on vacation
Yeah.
in June and July
and so
at
it's
different
just
times.
like, meh. But then, yeah, school. But the reason why we ramp back up in church world is because
People
school's
about to come back.
and that. So that's why I
These
care.
scrubs better come back.
Yeah, they better.
You've been on 6 vacations. This time you need Jesus, I promise.
I promise you fought with your spouse.
You've
on
been
vacation.
drunk in way too many countries.
God.
You got to come back to church.
Okay. Promotion Sunday.
I'm not ready. So Promotion Sunday in church world just
Let's
means
talk
that your
about why you're not ready.
child moves up to the next grade.
Yeah.
And so Titus is moving out of what we call the Bigs class and moving into 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And so I'm not sure that I'm ready for that. That means he's no longer in the puppet room.
Right.
And he's now in the like worship,
Sit down,
dim
behave.
lights. Here's
Yeah.
kind of a sermon room.
Yeah.
And then Lillian
Yeah, this is the one.
is going to youth group for the first time this Wednesday.
Whoa.
And I can't. I have a kid in youth group. This is not allowed.
It's crazy.
This is
I
not allowed.
remember too well still. Like McKinley always wanted to be where she wasn't yet, like ahead.
Uh-huh.
And so she would try to sneak in to kids church when she was still in the preschool and then tried to sneak in youth when she was still in kids. And I still like remember it like it was yesterday, like her first Wednesday. And the fact that our kids are 10 years of each other, that your daughter now is
Yeah.
doing that is like, what? I was there the day she was born. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So pray for your boy. She's going to do good. She's excited.
Oh,
She's looking
yeah.
forward to it. I just don't know if I'm ready.
That's what I was saying. Your whole life is about to change.
Well, and
her whole life is about to get amazing. Your whole life is about to change.
She's about to get away from us and her little brother.
Freedom, like
Aaron
yeah.
always talks about how there's a day when your little girl will quit cuddling with you.
Yeah, or
And, like-
just like
and I'm not
it
there yet.
becomes like kind of awkward, not awkward, but
Yeah.
yeah, awkward. Like
But
they
I'm not-
kind of are like, oh wait, you're a man. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
but
yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
She's still my little cuddle bug. But
Yeah,
I don't
she
know.
may never change.
She goes
from
to
that,
youth and
but
then that.
she might.
So yeah, we'll
She'll
see.
change.
We'll see.
Julia said she'll change.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, I as a youth pastor went to youth group on Wednesday every Wednesday for
Yeah.
like 12 years.
Yeah.
And then now I don't go on Wednesday all the time. But you know
Right.
what now I'm about to have to do? Drive my butt back up here and drop my kid off to
Every
church.
Wednesday, yeah.
And then I can't wait till Titus goes because then me and Rachel get built-in date night.
That's right. It's free.
See you, suckers.
That's right. Get
We're
outta
going to
here.
a movie.
Yeah. You might end up dropping Titus off early. You never know.
You're right. No.
Just kidding.
No, that cat.
No,
he ain't ready.
he'd get kicked out probably.
Yeah, dude, he would have disciplinary issues with Titus.
No, it's
because
fine.
Titus he loves to have a party.
That's right. Oh, see, you did it.
I bump set you.
You did it on purpose this time. So today we've been walking through values, and the reason Titus loves to have a party is because that's who we are here at More Church.
Yeah. So
go.
We're talking through values.
Yep.
A value is
how you do what you do.
How you do what you do. So we all have vision. We all have a mission. Everybody, every church, everywhere, love God, love people, reach the world, disciple people. They're all kind of these like overarching major concepts.
Right.
But how do you functionally do that? We've been talking through values, and we've already been hitting some great ones.
For sure.
But today,
it's one of the best
ones.
It's
a fun one. I feel like we've already done it, though.
No, we talked about it in the day that we talked about creating values and how values are valuable, like that very first day.
Okay.
And so we talked about just like that it was one of our most innate ones, and then one that people like to steal because they want to be.
Yep.
But they're not really party starters the way that we are.
Hit them.
Okay, so this value is we are party starters here on earth. No, yeah, that's right. So we can start parties in heaven. Look, I screwed it up. I got nervous.
We'll edit that.
Okay, we are party starters.
We'll edit that. Ready? Hit them.
We are.
All right, we'll edit that too. Ready? Hit them.
We are Wait, there it is. You gotta lick it right. The light wasn't on that time. I got insecure. Okay, you ready? Go.
The funny thing is, I don't know if we'll actually.
No, we shouldn't edit any of them. Just show how ridiculous I am. Okay, here we go. Ready, Julia? Okay, we are party starters on earth, so we can start parties in heaven.
That's not it. We're party starters here and in heaven. Isn't that the official value?
No, that's just what we put on the T-shirt because it's shorter.
All right, we're gonna have to really edit this.
But we have it. We are part. Oh, he's right.
Yeah, keep it in, baby.
I thought it was.
Listen, here's the value.
That's just how we explain it to people, I guess. We are party starters here and in heaven.
We're about to make a new value called Know Your Values. But if you notice, every week I'm the one that asks me, I'm like, what does it say? We're party starters here.
That's right.
And in heaven.
Yeah. But then the long explanation
the tagline is we start parties on earth so we can start parties in heaven. Here's the premise. God's a fun God.
That's true.
Okay, here's the premise. Party starters on earth.
That's right.
So we can start parties in heaven. The Bible says that when one person asks Jesus into their heart, that heaven notices and celebrates.
Yeah.
We did a whole sermon on this years ago.
We did?
Yeah, I did a whole Sunday. I did a whole Sunday on party starters. And I talked about this dynamic that is in heaven.
Yeah.
And I spice it up a little bit. And I talk about when one person raises their hand to accept Jesus, somebody in heaven, an angel, rolls out a cake and passes out party hats, and they're shooting off confetti cannons. And there's a celebration when that person's name gets written down in the Lamb's Book of Life, right? That there's now access for them to heaven. They celebrate that. And so we on earth have the ability to start a party, to initiate a party in heaven, and that happens through salvation here on earth. But the way that salvation here on earth happens is that people have to be welcomed into the church. They have to want to come. And so one of the best ways we do that is by having a fun local church.
That's right.
So we start parties here. We do fun stuff here. Why? Not just because it's fun, but with a spiritual goal of adding someone's name in eternity in heaven.
It sounds like just a mission, though. It doesn't sound like a value. But when you really unpack it, you realize a lot of people, especially our generation, grew up in churches that were boring as a mug.
We just now, today, we went to the bank.
Yes.
And the lady at the bank, me and Whitney invite this lady to come to More Church. She says, well, my husband and I, we go to this church. I'm not going to tell you which one. He's been going there since he was a kid. And she said, let me ask about your church. Is it? And we said, it's a little, we're charismatic.
Yeah.
Is that what word?
Charismatic,
we're
more
charismatic.
contemporary.
Oh, contemporary.
Well, you said charismatic first.
Yeah, we're contemporary.
Non-denominational.
And she said, oh, I love that. I feel like that would be much better for me so I wouldn't just be falling asleep the whole time.
Yes.
And I'm like, exactly. If you're going to church and you're just falling asleep the whole time, what's the good of that?
Right. So it can sound like, well, isn't the whole point of church to have people get saved and go to heaven? But when you recognize how you do what you do, we are super intentional to make sure that every Sunday is fun.
Yeah.
Not just event Sundays.
Yeah.
We do a lot of events. We are a huge event church. But it's not just the events that are fun. It's our worship is fun. It's our sermons are fun. It's our environment with the coffee and all the things outside the community is fun. And so it's a party everywhere we are. So let's talk about for this value specifically,
Yeah.
for us as a church, like, why did we adopt this? What made us go, this is the value that we are going to incorporate as one of the core values of our church?
Man, so many reasons. Because I think that people can get a stuffy idea of church.
Yeah.
Because they have a stuffy idea of church. They have a stuffy idea of God. They think that God smells like mothballs. They think that heaven is this kind of like dry, which, I mean, to be honest, the church that I grew up in had a ton of legality.
Yes. Rules.
So many rules.
Yeah.
Rules even over relationship. Rules
Right.
over like memories. I remember I was not allowed to run in the hall at church. And I think I got spanked every Sunday. Spanked.
Right.
Every Sunday, essentially my whole life.
Right.
Like, because I was too loud or I was too goofy.
Right.
Or this is not how you act. I remember I had to only wear leather shoes. I could not wear my tennis shoes to church. I had to wear leather shoes. Now, I'm thankful that my parents instilled discipline.
Right,
in
right,
me.
right.
My mom's going to be mad that I'm saying they spanked me. She's gonna be like, no, we didn't spank you. Dude, I was getting my butt spanked. If not, I was getting my arm pinched in the back of church.
Well-
and so it felt like I was allowed to be a kid everywhere, but not
at church.
Not at church in any way.
Right. Which as a kid, same for me. I remember walking in with a friend one time and he had a baseball cap on. He's a teenager. And he walked into the auditorium and somebody, one of the like elders of the church said, young man, we do not wear a hat in the house of God.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, y'all keep telling us that one day we get to go to heaven
Yeah.
and that heaven is going to be fun. But actually you make it feel like it's going to be a place that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what you just said is a perfect sentence. Why would I have fun everywhere else in life and not get to have fun in the place that is actually like helping prepare me for where I'm going to spend eternity?
Yeah.
And so I think that it's such an important piece of who we are. I think for you and I specifically because of the generation we grew up in, but then also because of our personalities. I feel like it was such a necessary declaration because it's easy if you don't know us to just look at us and be like, they're just loud and obnoxious.
That's good.
Goofy
Which
people.
we are.
Well,
Right.
yeah, we are.
But there's a goal behind it.
But there's a goal. We walk in a room and I mean, I still remember, you still remember, very beginning of leading, we went to like a conference. And at that time we super needed a kids pastor. Remember? And we were like, who is going to be our kids pastor? What are we going to do? And they were having like a breakout session lunch for kids pastors. Remember this?
Yeah, yeah.
And so we decide we're just going to show up to it.
Yeah.
We are not kids pastors,
No.
but we really need one and
Yeah.
don't know a lot of kids pastors right now in the
Yeah.
season. So we're just going to go to it. And we walked in and yeah, when we walked in, hey, what's up? We're saying hello to every person. We clearly don't really belong there, but we invited ourselves and I also didn't hire a kids pastor out of it, but that is who we are. We're going to
Right.
show up. We're going to be fun. And even if we're not invited to your party, we're going to start a party when we get to your party.
Yeah.
And what's funny is from that, we actually got invited to another like trip, fun event. And they literally said, we need some fun, energetic people on our trip. And
Yeah.
we knew that y'all would be the fun ones to bring. And
Yeah.
it's because they encountered us in this silly moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was what you said. It's an intentional thing. If we walked in there like, hey, what's up? Oh, we're not really invited. Oh, we're not really included, but we're kind of looking for a kids pastor. Do you think anybody wants to come to our church and
No.
work as our kids
No.
pastor if we're like that?
What we do is already so serious.
Life and day, literally eternity.
What we do is eternity's in the balance, and we talk about like the most in your face things you can imagine.
Correct.
This week, I talked about how the Bible's like a hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how like we find these points in life that are the anvil, it doesn't move. And then the word of God comes and pounds us into shape. Like
Right.
that's intimidating. It's conflicting. It's, offensive.
Yeah.
And so like what we do
Yeah.
is dang. I'm
Right.
up here talking about your marriage and your drug addiction and looking
Right.
at pornography. I'm talking about the most intense
In your
subjects.
face, right.
And it's like, if you're not intentional to have fun, you can fall into a hole of like so intense that it feels like uninviting.
Yeah. You said, oh, go ahead.
We did a series called "The End Is Near?" and I preached for 6 or 7 weeks through the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
And it was so intense that I personally began to fall into a like darker, like, outlook on life.
Hole, yeah.
A hole, like, dude,
The
like,
end is near.
the
Oh,
end is
God.
near. I started becoming like hard a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And I think that in ministry, that's easy to do.
Absolutely.
Because just like a firefighter, you know, they say a firefighter and a police officer see the worst 15 minutes of people's lives.
Right.
I think that that's what we do a lot emotionally.
A ton.
We see the worst moments in people's emotional lives.
Right.
And like, if you're not intentional, you can fall into like, dude, this sucks.
Right.
But instead to have the outlook of we get to do this, which we already did an episode on that.
Yeah.
We get to do this is really the foundation of like, be a party starter.
Absolutely. And I think knowing it and like deciding it then holds us to it. And so
Yeah.
like we've talked about it real openly on the Tug of War. Like we've gotten through some really difficult seasons over the last, or situations over the last few years. And there's been plenty of times that it's like, remember that we're party starters. Don't forget that's who we are. And like, life is just going to be life, right?
Yeah.
And so there's going to be plenty of times, whether it's being in, you know, in the ministry of being in people's business or just dealing with certain circumstances that are heavy, that it's like, wait, I have to remember who I said that I am, who we said that we would be as a church. And that's going to hold me back to, it tethers you back to who you are and how you do what you do. And so I feel like it's such an important one, like you said, coupled with the we get to do this, to keep the joy and the purpose and the
Yes.
fun in what we're doing.
You just said something that I think will help lead our conversation. So let's talk about how we are party starters in our programming and in our personalities.
Yeah.
Because they're separate
Two
things.
different things, yeah.
Personality has to come first.
Absolutely.
That we choose one of our staff values.
Yeah.
So we have church values, but one of our staff values is be fun, have fun, make fun.
Right.
As staff, if you're an employee at More Church, be fun, right? Like, birth it, be
Yeah.
fun, have fun, jump into what's going on.
Right.
You might not be starting it, but have fun, be fun, and then make it. Like, from nothing, turn it into a fun environment.
Absolutely.
And so that's a value that we have, that our personality needs to choose to have fun. That does not mean that we're faking it.
Right.
We've had people in the past say like, well, isn't that just faking? And I'm like, I think faking is the wrong word.
Right.
I think it's choosing. Like, did you want to get up and go to the gym this morning?
No.
Me neither. Would you rather went and got a donut or Chick-fil-A?
1,000%.
Yes. Almost every morning when I get to the gym and I meet Kyle, one of us says, hey, you want to leave and go to get a donut? As a joke.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we're faking being at the gym.
Right.
It means that we're choosing to do the better of the two options.
Correct.
That's not fake. That's telling my feelings they're a liar, right? The heart is deceitful above all things, and choosing what is the better option. And so though there's days that I'm tired or worn out or have a big stressful thing in my life, I'm going to choose to have fun.
Right. Well, and being a party starter means that I understand that I have influence. I understand the weight that I carry. That's not just for me, Whitney, and trusting pastors of the church. It's for any person who is carrying this like mantle of being a party starter, being a part of More Church. That's why it's a church value, not just a staff value, because we believe like anybody who says this is my home, then I'm deciding that I have influence in my job, in my family,
Yeah.
in my school, in the team that I serve on, in the life group that I'm in whatever area. I have influence, and it's up to me to start a party. It's up to me to decide that where I'm going is going to be a party.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to walk into rooms and when you walk in a room that has a bad vibe, as they would say,
Yeah.
bad energy, and it's easy. I remember when Rachel was a teacher, she would say that like in the teacher lounge lunchroom was like one of the most negative places that she could go because they're just complaining and they've always got an issue and a problem and blah, blah, blah. And she had to choose to not get into that. And the same is true in life. You can get sucked into whatever environment you walk into. But if we understand I carry influence, I might walk into a heavy situation. I might walk into a negative situation, but I can instead take my influence and
Yeah.
flip it into a party, make it a party, make it fun.
I said that we went to this quinceañera.
Yeah.
And so it was beautiful. Jackie and Alex are some of our best friends.
Yes.
Love them.
Have known them so long.
Love them. I'd fight a dude for
Correct.
A-Rod. Like, love them.
1,000%.
So we go to the quinceañera, and they have the kind of like, all the like order of service.
Yeah.
Not service, but like the stuff they do.
Yeah. Ceremony.
And then they have like the dance. So Alex and Maddie, they do this daddy-daughter dance.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now the DJ comes. He's like, it's time to get the dance floor, get the party started, right? And they start playing some crazy music. And nobody goes out on the dance floor.
Right.
Except
Maddie and her friends.
So they're out there kind of like awkwardly dancing. Nobody else is moving. So you know who moved? We did. Me and Rachel looks at me. Me and Rachel get up. We walk on the dance floor. Aaron and Whit, we didn't even say nothing to each other.
Right.
We're up on the dance floor and we're dancing. Do you know why? I got Alex's back.
Right.
I don't really like.
Well, like it's
I'm
not
preaching tomorrow. It's Saturday night.
Well, yeah, it's
like,
not
I just
even
ate
our party.
It's not
their
our party.
Their family, their event.
But I know that what the Rodriguez family wants is this to turn into a party.
Right.
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump my butt up and I'm going to start dancing.
Yes.
Am I a great dancer? No. Are any of us great? No. It's not like we're out there doing like the Roomba. I don't even know.
The Roomba, that's a vacuum cleaner.
See, that's how bad a dancer I am. So we're out there dancing. You know what happens? Here comes Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
Here comes Aunt so-and-so.
Yeah.
Here comes, the party gets started.
Right.
Because we started it.
And it's funny because I think a lot of people think that personality is a arrogant or cocky,
or you're just a crazy person,
right? But the truth is, it actually is a decision to not care what anybody thinks,
right?
To not really worry about. There's a moment, so it's a quinceañera, so there's a lot of Hispanic music that's being played.
I don't
know
what the junket's saying,
right? And then at one point, the guy turns it off and turns on a country song. Were y'all still there?
I think because I was preaching the next morning.
No, I think you had just left.
I'm ready to bounce.
And so the guy turns on country music, and the entire dance floor.
Everybody bails.
And you can see the DJ is like, and so I'm like, I look at our table and I go, who would I be if I'm not going to dance to my people's music now, And so Aaron and I go out on the dance floor and we're the only ones, right, Julia? I think Julia even took a video of it because it was so absurd. But it was like, we're not going to kill the vibe of the party.
Right. Keep it going.
And honestly, what you said, I suck at, I'm not a good dancer at all.
We need to be like Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine from Seinfeld.
This is where you live, right? But I'm going to keep the party
going. And then Aaron
going.
looks like he's drunk.
Yeah,
he's not. I promise. He's my friend. But sometimes on a dance floor, it's like, dude, this guy.
Because you just don't care. Dance like you just don't care. And that's the part. It requires like, at one point, I'm like, we're literally the only ones. Who cares? Because we're going to keep the party going.
Okay, but what are we trying to get to? We made a choice to shift the environment.
Correct.
Us getting up to go on the dance floor, you know what we're doing? We're going to work.
Absolutely.
When Rach and I stood up from that table, we looked at each other. We said no words, but you know what we said? We said, let's go do some work.
Yeah.
Let's go shift the environment. And we do that all the time. We do that on Sunday mornings. Whether it's a spiritual moment, we're praying before service, whether it's our rally, whether I'm getting up to preach. There'll be some Sundays that like one of the services aren't engaged during worship.
Right.
And the worship is they're kind of sleepy or whatever, right?
Right.
Wake up, right?
Wake up, people.
But they're kind of sleepy. So you know what Whitney will do? Whitney will go get on the mic, make up announcement. She didn't really need to tell, get everybody moving around. Come on. Hey, we're going to have time. Pastor Trust's about to, you know what she's doing? She's helping the room.
Shake the room up.
Shake the room. Why? So that we can engage.
Yeah. It's an important.
But we have to do that to ourselves.
Correct.
A leader is able to shake themselves.
It's so true.
Don't wait to be shook.
Yeah. Well, we talked about leading while bleeding before a bunch, multiple times. But there's also leading when you're tired. There's also leading when the environment sucks. There's also leading when everybody else is tired. And it's what you just said is so good. We have a choice of how we're going to influence any space we walk into. And so we've determined we're going to be party starters. And so because of that, what's awesome about that value is it deflects, what is the right word? Deflects negativity. Like I now can say anytime there's a negative situation, anytime there is a womp Eeyore situation, hey, remember, we're party starters.
Yeah.
All I have to say is those words and who I'm saying it to, they know exactly what that means and they know they better shake themselves back into the right attitude and the right atmosphere. Or you're choosing to say, I don't want to align
Now,
with those values.
I can hear some opinions.
Okay. I like it.
There are moments that you can't shake it,
For sure.
but they're far and few between.
Right.
There's been, I'll let you say the number. Like you give the number of times this has happened.
Okay.
Where I've had something going on either in my personal life or in my own head, where on Tuesday morning where we have staff meeting, I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I can't rise to the occasion to lead the staff meeting, to give the energy, and I tell Whit, hey, I can't do it. I need to not be there. How many times in 8 years have I done that?
3 ever?
Maybe 3.
Maybe.
And 2 of them were back to back.
Right. I was going to say there was a difficult season.
So I'm saying there are moments, and on Sundays, probably the same.
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably been 3 or 4 Sundays
yeah.
where I've been like, hey, the message is too heavy.
Right.
I'm unable to be around.
I'm going to go back here.
But so like, I'm not saying that every moment of your life you must be a smiling monster. That's not what I'm saying. There are moments, but if you are once a month, right, like not willing to push through, then I think that you need to examine, like, well, then that's just not a value for you.
It's not a value.
It's a value for us.
I was going to say the difference, though, is because that's who we are, then you speak to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know lots of people who are unable to show up consistently or sometimes every now and then, but they don't speak to it.
Right.
You're just like, hello, are you there? What's going on? What's happening? But because it's a value, then, and because we are willing to be transparent with each other and communicate it, then we're able to say, hey, today I have a hard time. I remember when Easton was little and we were like on our way to school one day. He's literally like in first grade and he's like crying. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm having a hard time getting my party started. And and it like became a joke with our family. But yeah, there's plenty of times that you're going to have a hard time getting your party started. But if you can admit that and then admit it safely to someone around you, then they'll cover you on those days.
Yes.
And that's the exception, not the rule.
It's the that's great. It's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
There are some Sundays where, for me, like the message I'm about to speak is so heavy on my heart, I can't engage with anybody. And so that's kind of even how we sit.
Yeah.
We sit on the front row. Aaron sits, Whitney, Rachel, or me, and then Rachel. And I'm shielded. Mm-hmm. And Aaron blocks me because he knows. But there's some days that it's really heavy, and I'll literally say, hey, Aaron, I need you to
just be here. Right.
Watch my 6 today.
Yeah.
Guard me from this. But that's rare. We have to be willing to get our party started. Okay.
Also you can also
shake me out of this.
Well, and you can also have how am I trying to say it? In those moments, you're still intentional to keep a smile on your face. You're still intentional.
Oh, I'm not a punk.
Yes, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You may not be the party starter, but you're going to not be
a wet blanket.
You're not going to be the, what is it called? Party pooper.
Party pooper.
You're not going to be the party pooper. And so like, nobody gets to be a party pooper ever.
Yeah.
You might not be a party starter in that moment, but I think that's just an important distinction. Mm-hmm. Like, don't be a punk. Okay, go.
Okay. Well, no, I want to get into the programming, but first, there's a whole other piece of why being a party starter, I think, is a part of our vernacular.
Okay.
So, I've talked about it before that Rachel and I, before we came to start More Church, we were on staff at a great big church in Houston, mega church. And while we were there, we were really lonely. And I've talked about this a bunch of times, so I don't need to tell all those stories. But we were really lonely in this season, which was odd because we were kind of pseudo famous in the city, but then lonely at the same time. And I remember Rachel and I longing to be invited over to someone's house.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for someone to invite us to their birthday party, waiting for them to invite us to their dinner, waiting. Mm-hmm. And we spent years there unaware that the whole time we could have just started our own party. And so when we came and started More Church, me and her had a conversation that said, hey, instead of waiting for someone to invite us to their party,
right,
we're just going to invite people to our party.
Yes.
We're going to make one. Hey, we're going to the movie this night. Do you want to go? Hey, we're going to dinner over here, and invite 5 couples. And if 3 of them show, cool, we're going to start the party. And I think that sometimes we get this like mentality of like victim, or this like someone come and swoop me up and you provide an atmosphere for me to have fun in. When really, if you're a leader, when we're all leaders, if you're still listening to the podcast, you're a leader, that maybe somebody else is waiting on you to invite them to try the new pizza place that you want to go to.
Well, it feels so elementary. It's something I taught my kids.
Right.
I didn't get invited. They didn't include me. I feel left out. And I would say, well, why don't you just invite somebody else to sleep over? Why don't you just invite somebody else to go to this thing? But when we become adults, we feel like, yeah, what you just said is so great. Like, I have arrived. I deserve for someone to invite me. I don't want to be rejected. Maybe that's it. I've already been rejected enough in life. So surely someone else will invite me. And then we just end up in our little bubble by ourselves.
And then we have hundreds of people in a church all wishing someone would invite them.
Correct.
And you know what they really wish? They wish the pastor would invite them.
Right.
And so then there's this dilemma that the pastor's not allowed to have friends. Because if the pastor says he has a best friend, that's awkward because he's supposed to be equal friends with everyone and supposed to invite everybody to their birthday party.
Right.
And it becomes impractical.
Yeah. And what you said is so great. And so then everyone is alone.
Yeah.
So instead, when you teach it in such a way that's like, because that's why then the pastor's alone. But when you teach it in such a way that is like, this is the expectation. So then whenever I start to feel, because it's a real human feeling, rejected, invisible, not included, left out, whatever, I then have to, because of the value I'm holding, check myself and go, oh, wait, when was the last time I started a party?
Yeah.
When was the last time I actually invited somebody else? When was the last time I said, hey, do you want to sit with me? Whatever it is.
When was the last time I cleaned my house, invited somebody over for dinner with me? I said, hey, you want to go get lunch after church today?
Right.
Hey, do you want to come to this movie with us? When's the last time we asked somebody?
Right. So that's a great distinction of, the intentionality of, even as adults, we're going to continue to be the ones not waiting to be invited, but inviting. And that's, I mean, golly, when you look at our church, that's the beauty of it. We talked about it, I don't remember what, a few weeks ago, about our life groups and how they're not really great organized life groups, but they are beautiful in that everybody's just inviting everybody. Everybody's just starting a party together. And you look on the internet. I remember when we used to like talk about it on a Sunday because we were hoping it would happen. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love when we see people on the internet hanging out together. And it was like, but now they just are all the time.
Our people, we just got invited by a life group.
Yeah.
That it's not even life group season. Like our life group semester is off through the summer, but this life group,
they keep meeting.
They keep meeting all summer, and they're just going to movies and doing all kind of stuff, and they have real, genuine community.
Right.
And I love it. I saw another one. They had a big pool party. Mm-hmm. They're just always spending time together. That's unplanned, but it's because we have a party starter culture,
right?
Not a send me a RSVP to your party.
Correct.
Which I think is what I experienced a lot of places.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if this is not your personality, then don't make it a value.
Right.
Because there's plenty of churches that I see have taken this value, we're party starters, and they're not. The pastor's boring as a mug. His wife is kind of uppity. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not a party starter, then you need to have a value that's more like, I don't know what.
We are kind.
I mean, we're kind. We are theologically sound.
I don't know.
We're theologically sound,
right?
But I'm saying like your emphasis, on like what you do is somewhere else. Because it's funny when like still rocking some pews in their church,
right?
You know what I mean, and don't have music in the lobby. Well, says we're party starters.
Well, you haven't got to programming yet, and so maybe this is the segue into it. But I see it a lot with people in churches that are trying to start parties, and so they say they're party starters. But the thing about us is that we naturally have a let's start a party atmosphere, personality in everything we do, and so we don't mean to, but the amount of times on a Sunday I say, today's not really a normal Sunday, come back next week, because we have so many events, so many fun things, so many odd things that we do, because we're not afraid of it. We're not afraid if you think it's weird. We're not afraid of if it's not your cup of tea, because if it's not your cup of tea, you're not going to stick around anyway, because we're going to keep doing it. And so it's such a part of it's not like when you say the programming piece, it's not like we have to sit around and go, how could we instill some fun parties into our church?
No, we would
have
do so much
many,
more
correct.
if our budget
We have so
were
many
allowing in this
absurd
season.
parties we want to do that then we just have to choose which ones we are allowed to do. And so I think that's the piece where it's like, if you don't already have a natural bend to like...
If you're not already kind of crazy and goofy...
Yeah.
It's hard to drum up.
Right. Because if you just get some bounce houses in your lobby and hang some balloons on the wall, then...
I'm not sure that's being a party starter.
Right. It's not the same thing. And so, okay, talk about programming. I'm sure there's some direction you wanted to go.
No, it's just that being intentional to say, okay, if we're party starters on earth, so we can start parties in heaven, how do we make this environment not feel stuffy? How do we make it feel like untraditional church? Something that we say around here is that we want to kill pleasant church. Mm-hmm. We want to kill pleasant. This is not, we're not going for just pleasant.
You could replace it with kind. I'm just kidding.
Like, we want it to be,
right.
Like I tell our kids team, my goal in kids every week is those kids walk out with some shock and awe.
Yeah,
what do I want
shock
a kids
and awe.
ministry to be? Shock and awe.
Right.
When I'm preaching, I want there to be shock and awe. What? Oh, why? Then they're going to remember,
right.
They're going to hold on to what they said. Because I sure did sit through some college classes. I don't remember nothing.
Right.
I sat there, I read the books, I took the notes, I took the test, and I don't remember anything because there was no shock and awe. There was nothing memorable.
Yeah.
And so in the programming, we put in, how do we make this thing fun? So like, we do house parties. Mm-hmm. We call them house party, one, so that we remember it's a party. It's when we do baptisms and baby dedications and like all of those kind of churchy things that you do. And at house party, we make it a party. We theme it.
Right.
We have days where you dress up in different costumes, where we do Cinco de Moro. So it's like Spanish and Mexican salsa.
It fell into what happened. What happened was we'd been doing house party for a while, and we'd been having fun with it, and we always had like special elements and special fun like things. But then one fell on Cinco de Mayo, and so we are who we are. So we couldn't not call it Cinco de Moro and then not have a party. So we got elote, we had like whatever the
Piñata.
what do they call piñata with those flags hanging, all the pieces, and then it was like, what the heck have we been doing? Why haven't we been doing this for every house party? And so now we've had Hawaiian theme one, we've had the 90s theme one, we've had a bunch of different ones. And it's so a part of who we are. What I love about it is it then takes our people out of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. We have all kind of people who've come in from every different walk of life and every different age. We have a beautiful couple that came from a very traditional church, and they are our parents' age. Yeah. And they came in, and they're at first like, what is this place? Why are they doing what they're doing? But then realized, I love it. It is theologically sound. They are reaching people for Jesus. They are kind. They are starting parties in heaven. Okay, then I want to start the parties here on earth. Yeah. And I think that's an intentional piece that's really important. We will do anything fun and crazy to leverage getting people to know Jesus. Yeah. We're not just doing it with no purpose. Yeah. It's not just, fun and crazy. And we present the gospel opportunity to accept Jesus in your heart every Sunday. Yeah. I had somebody ask me that not long ago. How do you guys have so many people that get saved at your church? And I was like, well, we just offer the opportunity. Would you like to ask Jesus in your heart? And like, we do that intentionally. So there's fun. It's intentional, but it has a purpose. And so when it is so naturally who you are, then it's easy to put it in your programming. It's easy. But then the one hard part of that is the expectation that we will continue to be party starters. Mm-hmm. And so we have to, you just said it a minute ago, our budget right now is tighter than it's been in other seasons. Yeah. I think that's probably true for most of America right now. And so we have this opportunity to go, well, we'll just stop doing house parties because we can't afford it. Yeah. But instead we have to go, wait a minute, this is who we are. We're party starters. Okay, then how do we do it on the budget that we have? Yeah. And I think if you don't have values and you don't have them in the right alignment, it's easy in tough seasons or seasons that change to go, never mind, we just won't do that anymore. Oh, wait, no, this is a value of who we are. We have to maintain it. We just have to figure out a new way to do it. Yeah. And so it challenges us as leaders, and it challenges our people to step out of their comfort zone and dress like Crisscross and the Spice Girls, you know?
Me and Aaron dress like Crisscross, and the girls, they dress like
Yeah, we were
the
Spice Girls. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was fun.
So
that one was on my birthday. So
it's just
my
thinking
favorite.
through like what little, for us,
Yeah.
what can we do that connects where people would be disconnected? Like we just did the Arlington 4th of July parade. And this couple that Whitney's referencing, they're a little older. They recently started coming to church. They came and showed up to walk the parade.
Right.
And the man, he told me afterwards, he says, Pastor, this was so fun. He said, I've never been a part of anything like this before. And he said, you know, I was wondering as we were walking through the parade, how the people watching the parade were going to react to us playing worship music when I saw all the speakers. And we're not playing worship music in the parade.
Right.
Well, some of it we did. We snuck in some.
Yeah.
I got Dominion, some
Yeah.
Transformation, some like
Fun jams.
some Kirk Franklin,
Yeah.
right? But like we're playing like America, Party in the USA.
Oh, Party in the USA.
We're playing
Yeah,
the Cha Cha Slide.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't know. And he was like, I was so excited to watch the people in the parade dancing to the Cha Cha Slide. He said, I didn't even know it. But you know what I saw? I saw them pull out their phone and scan the QR code on our big trailer banner. And he was like, it's working.
Right.
He said, I'm getting it. He's understanding the method behind the madness.
Yes.
A little bit.
And if you don't, then that's okay. Like it's not for everyone, but it holds the value. Yes, sir.
I have another point.
Yes, go.
Parties are impractical.
Right.
It makes no sense for me to clean my house and buy a cake and buy gifts and invite all my daughter's friends over and have to give them a little going away bag and get my house all messy. It makes it's not practical to have a birthday party,
Right.
but it's memorable.
Right.
And so I think that if you're listening to this, you might think that, man, some of these values feel impractical. If all we did was things that were practical, we probably wouldn't have air conditioning.
Right.
Like there's a lot that we wouldn't have. We would just
Right.
not bought chairs and got some hay bales. Like there's a lot of things that we could do that are much more practical.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be as memorable.
They're not going to be as purposeful.
Yeah, it's purposeful.
If you want to use alliteration. But for real, I think that you're right. And so that is why it is so important that your values align with who you are. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important that you make sure to reevaluate, is this who we are? Is this where we want to continue to go? Is this how we want to continue to be who we are and do what we do? And I think that's one that will never fall off the list. We had a conversation with our staff last week about like values and kind of talking about
The ebb and flow.
the ebb and flow of them. And this is one that will be the core of who we are for always.
Yeah.
And even if the value isn't like written on a wall somewhere or whatever, we're going to know. You can't be a part of More Church for very long without being told we're party starters
Yeah.
and without knowing that's who we are. And it will always be a core of who we
Yeah.
are.
Let's give some shout outs.
Okay.
Let's give some like who is good at this at starting parties, to give some examples. Because like, you know, one of the purposes of the Tug of More is to help disciple
Yeah.
the people that are a part of the church.
Yeah.
And so how we do what we do. So Jay Jackson. Listen, Jay's goofy.
Yeah.
Jay, he be goofing sometimes. This dude, he be acting half crazy every once in a while. But Jay's a party starter.
Yes.
Jay is, how old is Jay?
I hate when
Jay,
I do
we
that 'cause I
apologize.
always say
Jay's older than me.
62, 4, 3,
and
5.
him and Patty also lead our grief group.
Yes.
Sad.
Which is heavy.
Heavy.
Sad, right.
But you know what also Jay does? Jay just invites a bunch of people every Sunday to a restaurant after church.
Every
And
Sunday.
you know what? A bunch of people go.
Yeah.
And Rachel and I went the other week, and they had a first-time guest there, somebody who's brand new. You know who it was? This guy who was at the parade.
Oh, yeah.
He's starting a party. Now, it's in his context,
Right.
but he's winning at it. I look at Corey Hoffman.
Yep.
Corey Hoffman got his life group together to go and watch some kind of cheesy Christian movie that was in the theaters.
Yeah.
And he invited us. He started a party.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at who was there.
Yeah.
It's a group of people that I wouldn't put together as these people are community they are.
Right.
But Corey and Whitney, that's his wife,
Yeah.
started a party and they're winning.
And what I love about what you're saying is a really important piece. Every party doesn't have to look the same.
Corey and Jay have drastically different personalities.
Right.
Corey is more structured
Right.
than Jay is. But But he started partying. A
Right.
ton of people showed up.
Right. I love it. Okay, who else?
Amy Chin.
Amy Chin is a great.
Amy Chin's a party starter. And Amy and Vince could have sat on their hands at More Church and waited for me to invite them to my party.
Right.
But instead, they've built their own community. And the reason they've been here for 14 years is not because Pastor Trustin wines and dines them and takes them to dinner all the time.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Amy and Vince, I publicly apologize. Probably have not had dinner with you in way too long.
And way too long.
But like, they've built a community of
Yeah.
people around themselves. They're party starters.
Yeah, no, it's true. And she uses her influence in multiple ways. She uses it in inviting people to be a part of their group. She uses it in her energy, like her laugh in a Sunday service
Yeah.
can set the tone for the room.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of ways. It doesn't always have to be. You might be in a season where you're like, my life is so busy, I can't have a party at my house. I
Yeah.
can't invite. No, there's lots of ways to start a party. You know, in Corey and Whitney's life group is Kristen B and A Kruger.
Yeah.
And they are party starters
100%.
in the lobby every Sunday.
Yeah.
They help lead in the welcome, in the greeting area. And they're the perfect leaders of this because they embody what it is to be a party starters. When it's your party, you welcome everyone into your house.
Yeah.
When it's your party, you make sure they know where the guacamole is, how to get their drink,
Yes.
where to sit down, what music's playing,
You host
whatever.
it. Yeah.
And they are beautiful hosts of this house because you and I can't stand at the door every Sunday. and Welcome everybody.
Yeah.
We try to get to the door to say goodbye, and we can't make it 20 feet without we talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they have decided, okay, this is our house too. So because we are owners of it, we are going to also host everybody that walks in the door super well. And I've never, it's really funny, I've never heard the complaint from our church that I came, we visited for the first time, and no one was nice to us. No one
Right.
talked to us. No one. Never.
Ever.
Which as I'm sitting here going, oh, weird, that's
We have
crazy.
other
We have
pastors that will
lots-
come and visit us.
Right.
And they'll just walk in and nobody will know who they are. And that's the number one compliment they get.
Always.
Of how welcomed they
And
were.
kind people were too.
And that's not like we have a bunch of meetings
No.
telling people, here's how you greet someone when you come in.
Right.
I can't remember the last time we did that.
Right.
But this value of we're party starters, it sets an atmosphere, a tone. I remember years ago in the lobby at the Matlock building, I walked in the lobby and the tenor of the lobby was down. Mm-hmm. The tenor, the tonality of the conversation in the lobby was very funeral-esque. And it's when we started initiating these values, is when we said, no, we have to make a shift that we're party starters. And so I remember at the Matlock building, us spending money and we installed speakers
I was
outside.
just about to say this. Yeah.
We didn't really have it.
It wasn't practical.
No.
It was I was a little bit annoyed at how much it cost.
And we got noise complaints from the neighbors across the street.
Sure did.
Because we would play loud music on Sunday because our parking lot was in the back and it was such a far walk. So we hung some banners up to create expectations. They walked in, they got around the front and music hit them and it was kind of upbeat. Why? Because we're trying to set an expectation
Yes.
that you're welcome to not something sleepy.
Right. Not something lame. No, it's super good.
So for you in your life, if you are a party starter, how can you program that?
Yeah.
If you're a teacher and you're about to go back to school and you want your kids to not be falling asleep and bored and disrespectful, okay, set the environment, set the
Right.
atmosphere so it is lighter and brighter. I remember Rachel was a teacher at Milby High School and we were in Houston, and it's like the most ghetto high school. I'm not being rude. It's like labeled like the worst school
Yeah.
in Houston. And her room was so dark and the paint didn't match and there was bricks and stuff kind of falling out. And she got permission to paint her room. And so me and her went in there and painted every wall of her classroom and hung mirrors and stuff. And the kids would come in and they would act totally different in her room
Right.
than they would in other teachers' rooms. Why? Because of an anointing in Rachel, but because the atmosphere, the environment was set of peace.
Yeah.
We can set the environment.
Absolutely. You can do it in your home. If there's chaos, like change the music turn on music,
Yeah.
but change the music that's being played in your car, in your house, in your office. Like decide to be the one at the water cooler who's laughing and having fun or
Yeah.
whatever, not the one gossiping and being a punk. And then look for ways. I think the biggest piece is what you said before. The biggest part of being a party starter is looking for ways to invite other people along in
Yeah.
the party
Yeah.
and finding ways to say, hey, you can sit with me. Hey, come be a part with me. Hey, instead of putting on the lens, I remember a lady in the Matlock building. So I walked up to her one day and said hi to her, and she said 11. And I was like, what? She said 11 minutes. I've been standing here counting how many minutes it would take for someone to come say hi to me. Now, listen, she's standing in the corner with her hands folded, all
Yeah.
the things, like looking
Hateful.
so uninviting. And I'm like, well, yeah, they were scared. They thought you were going to punch them in the face probably if
Yeah.
you talk to them. But I remember that so vividly because I'm like, I will never allow myself or the people in my sphere of influence to be the kind of people who are counting how long till you talk to me.
Yeah.
So we say all the time, we say hello first. I'm going to go say hello first. I'm going to invite first. That's part of being a party starter. And when I can flip that mentality, then I'm going to have fun anywhere I am.
Dude, I'm telling you, that'll change your life. Say hello first. Don't wait for them to come and say
Right.
hello. Say hi. The Bible says to have friends, a man must show himself friendly.
Right.
Show yourself friendly to somebody, and you're going to
Yeah.
make a friend. So that's our value party starter. If you have any questions, comments, critiques, let us know. We're not
Yeah.
going to change. We're going to keep acting crazy.
That's true.
And if I get old and kind of dusty, I'm going to submit myself to the ideas of the next generation to make. We've got a series coming up that I don't know what to name it. I've got how many ideas are on my whiteboard? 10. None of them are good. So I'm going to ask this next generation, what do we call this
Right.
to make it more party-esque, attractional, because it's a heavy idea.
Yeah. And to make people feel invited to the conversation, not intimidated by the conversation.
That's true.
All right. That's good.
That's it.
That's all we got. We almost talked for an hour.
Guys, tonight we have the meeting for my daughter.
Oh, that's right.
Youth group, like parent meeting.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it, is what they say.
Let's talk about it.
You're having tacos. It's let's talk about it.
One of my first events I did as pastor is we had a men's event, and I called it the Atocalypse.
I remember this.
It was not good, but it was a party.
Hey, I was saying it was super fun. Yes. Well,
But sometimes naming stuff like that helps in the
absolutely
take the seriousness off the thing.
Yeah, we could call House Party Sunday Baptism Sunday.
Yeah, life change pivot point event. Okay.
No, that's
Following Jesus' example Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, we could call it that, and it would still be true.
Right.
Would rather
But
have
let's
a party.
just have a house party. Pray for your boy as his daughter stepping into womanhood.
Wait a minute,
femalehood.
what?
I got him stressed out.
That is not a real thing.
It's coming faster than you think.
Guys, we got our truck back. Did we talk about this?
Oh yeah.
We got our work truck back. We bought some wheels and tires on Facebook Marketplace. So about to get the truck back
And fixed.
and fixed. And we're going to wrap it so it doesn't get stolen again.
Yeah. At
So if
some
they-
point.
So if
we
they
will wrap it.
if they
at some
steal it,
point.
if they steal it, we'll see it driving away.
Yes. At 2 a.m, we'll find it because we're not in bed.
Winnie doesn't want to wrap it.
I do. I just don't want to spend the money on it yet.
Party starter. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
See ya.